What's up, sports fans? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel. We continue here with my 2024 predictions for the upcoming 2024 college football season. The Oklahoma Sooners are up next. Oklahoma coming off a 10-3 season last year in 2023, of course, in their final year in the Big 12. Now they're heading to the SEC in 2024. Speaking of that, my thoughts on this Oklahoma team for 2024, I think they're going to be pretty good. You know, you look at the offensive side of the football, they got a new quarterback in Jackson Arnold. Of course, Dillon Gabriel now gone, entering the transfer portal, is really a big loss there at the quarterback position, but maybe the offense is good, but, maybe it takes a step back from where they were, the last 2 years. And then you look at the defense, I think they're going to be pretty solid there. They got a good amount of production coming back on the defense from last year. So I think defensively, I think they're going to be pretty good there. It's not really just about this Oklahoma team, though. It's more about the schedule here for Oklahoma coming up this season. Here is the schedule for Oklahoma for the upcoming season. Again, we go Oklahoma was 10-3 last year in 2023. So let's go game by game now and give you a record prediction here for Oklahoma for 2024. First game of the season is against Temple here on August 31st. I think the Sooners will take care of business in this game. Definitely probably should score like maybe 30 or 40 points in this one. It's mainly going to be about the defense as well and see how good they're going to be, especially on that side of the football. So I think Oklahoma starts out 1-0 pretty easily, and then after that they'll play a former Big 12 team in their right against Houston here on September the 7th. I don't really know how good Houston is going to be, but this is a Power 4 non-conference game. Anything can happen probably in these types of games, but Oklahoma probably is the better team here. So with that being said, I think Oklahoma probably takes care of business, and they will start off 2-0, and then they take care of business against Tulane here on September the 14th. I know Tulane has been pretty good in the last couple years, but Tulane, I think, lost their head coach, so they may not be like, the same team as they were from the last couple years, and especially from a couple years ago when they went to a New Year's Six Bowl. So I think Oklahoma does win that game, and they start off 3-0 here on the season, and then after that they open up SEC play here against Tennessee here on September 21st. This will be a home game here for the Sooners. I done my Tennessee video from last week, and I did choose Oklahoma to win this game. This game can, definitely go two different ways. It can definitely go either way, and it definitely could be a game that really is about the offenses, and maybe it's really about the defenses. I think, Tennessee has a better offense than Oklahoma, and then you look at defense, I think Oklahoma does have a better defense. I think both of these teams are pretty even, though, when you look at them and compare them. I think it's going to go either way here in probably a low-scoring type game. But, I think Oklahoma playing at home, home field advantage might favor the difference in this one. And again, like I said, I did choose the Sooners to win this game from last week in my Tennessee video. So I think Oklahoma does win this one here, and I got them starting off their SEC play here with a win. And again, that's their first official conference game as an SEC team. So I got Oklahoma improving down to 4-0 here on the season. Next game is on the road here at Auburn on September 28th. Obviously, going to be a very tough road game here for this Oklahoma team. This is a very tough place to play at Jordan-Hare Stadium. I think Auburn's going to be pretty good this year. They have a lot of production and a lot of experience coming back. They also brought in some transfers to help them out, so I think this is going to be a really good Auburn team. Not really like the talent level of, just like maybe Georgia, maybe, Alabama and everything. But I think Auburn is just going to be really good this year. And the fact that this game is on the road makes it very tough to call. I think both of these teams are probably pretty even, but, home field advantage might favor the difference in this one. So I'm going to take the Tigers in this one. I think it's really kind of hard to go against Auburn, especially playing at their home turf. So I think Auburn does win this one, and they give Oklahoma their first loss here of the season. So that puts Oklahoma's record here at 4-1. Here on the season. And then the Sooners do get a bye week here. Their first bye week comes before a big game, of course, against Texas here on October 12th. This game, of course, will be in Dallas. And now these two teams are now meeting each other as SEC opponents, of course, meeting as former Big 12 opponents. Now they're SEC opponents against each other. This is going to be a really good Texas team. Obviously, one of the most talented teams almost in the country. And then, of course, you look at the offensive side of the football. Quinn Ewers, of course, will be back at quarterback. I mean, obviously, that's going to be a huge return there. And then defensively, they may not be the same defense as they were from last year, but Either way, this is going to be a really good Texas team, and you just look at the differences here between both of these teams as well. Texas is going to have the better offense, and then Oklahoma might have the better defense. It's probably going to be a low-scoring type game, but I think Texas does get revenge here on Oklahoma. Plus, I've already done Texas when I did my first week of these predictions and these first 5 teams as well, and I'm going to go with Texas here. I think they give Oklahoma their second loss here of the season, so that puts the Sooners' record here at 4-2. Next game, they'll play at home against South Carolina on October 19th. Kind of like a reunion here. Shane Beamer used to be at, Oklahoma and everything, so this is kind of like a reunion here between, him and the Oklahoma fans and everything. But, Oklahoma is playing at home in this one. They're trying to get, like a win here after like 2 straight losses in a row, and I think they do that. I don't know how good South Carolina is going to be this year. I mean, offensively, you do have some concerns there on the offensive side of the football, and then defensively, that might be on that side of the football. They might be really good on that side of the football this year. So this is probably a low-scoring type game, but I'm going to go with Oklahoma here just because of the home field advantage. I think Oklahoma does get a win here after losing 2 straight games against Auburn and Texas, and that puts Oklahoma's record here at 5-2 on the season. Next game is on the road here at Ole Miss on October 26th. This is going to be a very talented Ole Miss team. You look at the offensive side of the football, they're going to be very explosive there. And then defensively, I think they could be quite better as well. But I think Oklahoma does have a better defense than Ole Miss. But this Ole Miss offense is just very explosive. They have a lot more talented players on this roster, more than Oklahoma does. So with that being said, this is going to be a really tough game here on the road, especially when it's on the road. It's definitely a very tough place to play. I'm going to go with the Rebels here, and I'm going to give Oklahoma their 3rd loss here of the season. But then they take care of business against Maine here in the other non-conference game, and that puts their record now at 6-3. And then their next game is on the road here at Missouri on November 9th. Obviously, the Tigers were a very big surprise team last year. I think Missouri is going to be really good this season once again. Potentially a top 15, maybe even a top 10 team as well. This game is on the road, but I think it will be a very interesting game. It's probably going to be a low-scoring type game. I think Oklahoma and Missouri's defenses are both pretty even, and especially, maybe not the offense, though. I think Missouri definitely has a more better offense than Oklahoma does, but this game is on the road. I mean, it's obviously a very tough one to call, so maybe home field advantage might favor the difference in this one. I'm going to go with the Tigers here to give Oklahoma their 4th loss here of the season, so that puts Oklahoma's record now here at 6-4. And then they get their second bye week here before playing a big-time home game against Alabama on November 23rd. This is going to be a huge game. Alabama, of course, not going to be the same team as they were from last year. Obviously, Kalen DeBoer now taking over as the head coach and everything, but either way, Alabama is still going to have a very talented roster, and they're going to have a really talented overall team on both sides of the football. I mean, offensively, they're going to be really explosive. Defensively, might be a step back from where they were in the years to come. But you look at this matchup, Oklahoma has home field advantage to get a bye week before playing this game. I think they're going to be fired up for this one, but it's hard to go against Alabama in these games here in the month of November because I think Alabama will be better by this time, but Oklahoma does have a chance to pull off an upset here, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. I think Alabama definitely is the more talented team, and they do survive here, a game against Oklahoma here on the road, and, Oklahoma does lose a close one here at home against Alabama. So that puts Oklahoma's record now at 6-5, and then the final game of the season is on the road here at LSU on November the 30th. This is going to be a very tough game here on the road at LSU. I think the Tigers have been pretty good this year. I mean, offensively might be a step back from where they were the year before, but defensively, they're going to be a pretty solid defense, so I think both defenses are pretty even. I've already done my LSU video like maybe a couple weeks ago, and I did choose the Tigers to win this one, so there's no question about it. We have to choose the same pick here, so I'm going to go with LSU here to knock off Oklahoma here. Probably in a close, low-scoring type game here in this one, but I think LSU definitely is the more talented team in my opinion, so I got Oklahoma losing their final 3 games here of the regular season. And my official prediction here for Oklahoma for their first year in the SEC is 6-6. So that may not seem like a really good prediction here for Oklahoma, especially heading to their first year in the conference. I know Oklahoma fans are not going to be really happy about this, but you look at this schedule, it's very tough for me, to predict what Oklahoma is going to do. They can absolutely go 7-5, maybe 8-4. But what if they go 5-7? That would definitely be a disappointing start to the SEC era here for Oklahoma. And again, you look at this schedule: Tennessee, Auburn on the road, Texas and Dallas, Ole Miss on the road, Missouri on the road, Alabama, and then, of course, LSU on the road. Those are very tough games. They don't have to play Georgia at least, but again, you just look at this schedule. It's very tough here for the Sooners. That's the reason why you're seeing their record here at 6-6 for me for 2024. So that is my prediction here for the Oklahoma Sooners for the upcoming 2024 season. Let me guys know what you think about this Oklahoma team. What do you think they'll do in their first year in the SEC? And what do you think their record will be for 2024? Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned here for more sports content videos on my Lucas Ross Sports channel.